Hey, I'm Mike Rizzi.
And I'm Ed Roland from the Sweet Tea Project. This young man also. Listen, behave, be sweet.
Hey there, hi, and welcome to another episode of Sit and Spin. With me, your host, Joe. With me, as always, my co-host, Norm, the drowsy dog. And leading us into this week's episode was Ed Roland and Mike Rizzi of Ed Roland and the Sweet Tea Project, this week's feature topic release. Ed Roland, if you are unfamiliar with the name, is the main creative force behind the band Collective Soul. He is the main songwriter, singer, guitar player, keyboard player, producer at all for that band. I'm a big fan of Collective Soul, so when I found out Ed had a new band project coming out, I was very interested to check that out as well. Sweet Tea Project, their debut album Devils and Darlings, which just came out back in September, literally came together in Ed's basement. Ed getting together with a bunch of his friends, as friends are wanting to do, listening to music, playing music, talking about music. And Ed was pretty much discussing how he had never really explored the Americana, what we call today, sound and rock, the more roots rock stuff, specifically early 70s troubadour, singer-songwriter era band, people like Jackson Browne or Graham Parsons, old school Elton John, early Eagles, stuff that had some more country flavorings and leanings to it. So the band riffed on that, liked what they heard, and decided, let's make this a real band, a real project, and hence Ed Roland and the Sweet Tea Project and their debut record. Prior to this, the band had debuted on the Bob Dylan tribute album, Chimes of Freedom, Songs of Bob Dylan, honoring 50 years of Amnesty International. They did a great cover of Shelter from the Storm, but that was a year or so ago, and in that ensuing time, they were working on their debut record. If you are a Collective Soul fan, there are a lot of tracks on this album that are not too dissimilar from the Collective Soul sound. Tracks like the title track you're hearing now, Devils and Darlings, Going to Birmingham, the current single Love Won't Bring Us Down, or Just As I Am. These are all songs that would fit nicely on a Collective Soul record, maybe with just less heavy guitars and added elements of like trumpet or banjo or some country style leanings. There are also other cool mixes of things that you might not necessarily hear on a Collective Soul record. There's a track called Oh Lord, which mixes a bit of gospel, blues, and even a bit of reggaeton for an interesting mishmash of sounds that you wouldn't think, but actually gel together quite nicely. And it's not just Ed Roland, it's a real band with Ed on vocals and guitar, Christopher Allen Yates on banjo, trumpet, and on vocals, lead vocals, Mike Rizzi on drums, Brian Bisbee on bass, try saying that 3 times fast, who also contributes lead vocals, and Grant Reynolds on guitar. That's the main touring outfit, even though they did get some help from some other friends in the studio recording the record. I actually had the good fortune of seeing the band last week. I went to see him with my good friend Scott Oliver from Righteous Vinyl. Hope you're checking out his show as well. And what an amazing show it was. These guys are a killer live act. 5 good friends just having a great time on stage. Man, the songs were just as amazing live, if not better, than on the album. But killer stuff, a great show. If these guys play anywhere near you, gotta go check them out and see them live. And the great thing, aside from all the good music that you hear on this album, is that they're already working on album number 2. This record's only been out a little over a month. They're already working on album number 2. So we got to hear a lot of new music that they've written since the creation of this record. So you'll get to hear these new tunes too. A great tune called Blue. There was another one called You Are the Answer that was really good. And we got to talk to the guys at length after the show, and I was saying, man, I hope they get this new stuff out soon because it's sweet as well. But in the meantime, go see them live. In the interim, pick up their new album if you haven't heard it yet. It's really good. You won't be disappointed. Aside from the tunes I mentioned, some of my other favorites on the album are Already Over, which is sung by Christopher Allen Yates. And the best way I can describe that one is kind of like if the Beatles went country. Just very much a poppy, kind of a mix of pop and rock with some horns in the background. But it was something that would fit right home on modern country radio as easily as rock. And most of these tunes actually would fit just as well in the honky tonk as they would in the rock club. Especially Brian Bisbee, the song he contributes lead vocals to, Forget About Your Life for a Little While, which is a pretty self-explanatory song, but it's exactly the kind of tune you'd want to hear if you were feeling down and you were just hanging out in the bar and kicking a few back. It's the kind of tune that will pep you right back up. But Ed Roland and the Sweet Tea Project, Devils and Darlings debut album out now. Go pick it up. Go see him live. Thanks for tuning into the show. Hopefully you're also checking out the aforementioned Scott and Righteous Vinyl over at his page, as well as guys at Riff of the Day. And we will catch you next time on Sit and Spin. And in the meantime, here's a taste of Ed Roland and the Sweet Tea Project performing their latest single, Love Won't Bring Us Down. Enjoy it, and we will catch you next time on Sit and Spin. Thanks for tuning in.
It's not disguise, looking out, it's right before your eyes. Bottled up and soon to blow, but life should be ready, set, go. Looking through what I believe, now baby, love this me. I was bound and now I'm free. Now baby, love this me. Baby, love this me. Take my hand, I will leave.